What's happening? Today we're gonna turn this into this. Today I wanted to take some time out of my day and show you guys some very simple framing techniques, almost the basic of the basic on how to frame a 2x4 studded wall. And we're gonna use 16-inch on center for this. So what I've done is I just cut some pieces of lumber so that we have a small example. Obviously, the principles and things I'm gonna go over for this can go on to be for whatever big structure or framing you're gonna do. But if you don't know how to frame anything at all, this is where you would wanna start. So the first thing you're gonna figure out is how long your wall is. So in our case, we're just gonna make a 48-inch wall. So I went ahead and I cut these two pieces of wood to 48 inches long. These are gonna be our top and our bottom plate. The next thing you do is you're gonna roll your plates up on their side like this. You're gonna take your tape measure, you're gonna pull from the end. But here's the thing, you don't wanna mark this at 16. Even though that's 16 on center, and a lot of people who've never done this before will just start marking on your red marks, and then what happens is you're off when it comes to putting your sheeting on. So here's how you get it on 16 on center. When you look at 16, right, you wanna go 3/4 of an inch to the outside. So you actually want to go 15 1/4 this way, and then you put a mark like this. This way, it's actually 16 on center, because if I go the other way and I mark 16 3/4, and I go like that, and I go like that, now you're at this 16 on center point, and you're 1.5 inches wide, which is exactly what our stud is. So when you're laying out, you'll go off the red mark, but then you'll go back 3/4 of an inch. So 15 1/4, 31 1/4, and then we get to our ends, and you can put an X on the ends, but obviously it's the end, so you know where the end is, right? The next thing you gotta do is you can take this square. This is called a speed square. It does a lot of cool different things. It's got some angles right here, so if you were going to do some different angles, you could figure that out. But for our purposes, we're just going to use it to make our nice square line. So you're going to go to your first line, you line it up, make sure that the two boards are flush, make a line just like that, make another line like that, make an X, and now we're ready to put the whole thing together. The next step in this process is you have to figure out how high you want your wall to be. But what you don't want to do is you don't want to say, okay, well my wall needs to be, I don't know, 36 inches tall. And then you go and cut all the studs at 36 inches, and then you forget that you have 1.5 inches and 1.5 inches here. So the easiest way to measure out any kind of wall is you go like this, lay both your plates down like this, and then you measure up whatever it's going to be. And instead of putting this end of the tape down this way, put it this way, and what it's going to do is, see, it gives you a nice even place where you can check your measurements. So let's say our wall is going to be 36 inches tall. So then we go and we look at this and we go, okay, and I guess we need to make the studs 33. I cut these studs, let's see. So we are going to make a wall that's 22 3/4 tall. So that means that our studs needed to be 19 3/4, which they are. So then when you go to frame your wall, you'll go like this. Keep one plate this way, put the other one this way. Make sure that they're still going the same direction. See our line and our X, and our line and our X. So we've got our studs laid out. We know that one's gonna go on the end, one's gonna go here, one's gonna go here, one's gonna go here. Where do we go from here? So what we wanna do is we wanna move this over like that. Make sure that your X's are on the same sides of your lines, going the same way, otherwise things will get kind of crooked. Then you just slide your studs in between, just like this. Just start nailing stuff together. Well, no, I'm gonna teach you something else that helps in case you've never done this before. This was a huge help to me. See what we got here? Take our square. You should go buy one of these if you're gonna do this type of work, by the way. They're like $3. It'll save you a ton of time. So then what I'm doing is I'm gonna line that up just like that. And I'm gonna put a line here. And then I'm gonna put my X right there, just like it is up there, but I'm gonna put it there. I'm gonna do the same thing here. just like that. So then I can see it, you know, so and it helps keep things square. I'll show you what I mean in a second. So then this one, we're gonna do the same thing. Draw a line here, and do the same thing over here. Okay, now we can see everything really easily. So we're gonna line up our studs again. For this type of work, I like to use an air nailer. If you've never used one of these before, you should probably learn from somebody who's used one before. Well, good thing you're watching because I've used it before. So here's what you gotta do. You're gonna line yourself up right here on the end, and then you're gonna hold this. Don't have your hand anywhere near here. There's nothing you could do to hold it any better if you're closer here. So hold it back here. This way, the nail's only 3 inches long. The odds of you getting punctured by the nail is very slim. And then you're gonna look, this is where the nail's gonna come out of. You wanna make sure that that is lined up. And 1 shot, and then 2. And there's that. So then you get to the middle, right? So this is where that line helps. See, because now I can line this up with that line. Because even, let's say I'm lined up right here, right? Well, that's not straight, and that's not even straight. To help you, you just draw that line, and then you just put a couple nails in there. And this helps things go a lot faster. And then you get your end, you're gonna do the same thing. You're gonna just put your stud on your end. Normally you'd have this laying down on the ground, it'd be much bigger, so you would walk around to the other side and you would shoot this in. For our purposes, I'm just gonna flip this around. But this is why it's important to have the X's, because you can now match them back up and continue on. You nail all this together. No, I'm just kidding. Okay, so now we got that. Now we got our wall built. So now I'm going to show you what you would do next. The next thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to take a measurement. And in our case, we're at like 22.5. So you would measure your sheathing, right? And since we're only 48 all the way across, we're actually a little shorter, we're like 47 5/8. You'll then put your sheathing on top of here, and when you're done with that, it'll look something like this. And on the outside, Force Field nor Georgia Pacific paid me to say this, but I will make a recommendation. If you're gonna do anything outside, either using something like Force Field by Georgia Pacific, or the more expensive or fancier type of zip sheathing, which comes in green. These are awesome products for the exterior because it has the house wrap built right into the product. And if you take a quick step with me right now, I'll show you over here on this house that we're working on. I'll show you how this stuff works. So we put our sheathing on and then we just tape it. And then that's it. I gotta help these guys finish. I hope you've enjoyed learning how to frame a wall. If you have any other questions, leave them in the comments below. I know I'm in his way, but I'm gonna finish anyway. If you like these videos, be sure to hit the subscribe button, hit the alerts, and that way you'll always know when we got another video out about something to do with construction. So you're always learning and always growing. And if you have any other questions or you want a video about something else, leave them in the comments below and I'll see you next time.